through Othram and Project Grace, they funded a forensic genetic genealogy investigation, which we worked since 2023 on it and just could not find anybody who was even a close match as far as that we could find to identify him. So, just for the heck of it, we decided to do another Facebook post, and we came in the following week and there was a voicemail message by a woman who said, I think I might know who your John Doe is. And so we called her back, and she started reciting this story where my mom and my dad lived up on North. There was a guy named Chet. We'd met him. He stayed on the property with my mom. And then one night, the next morning, he was gone. And my mom told us that he had just left in the middle of the night, but we always thought it was strange because he was a musician. He left all of his equipment. He left his brand new truck. He had a custom bus that he used for, I would assume, for his, gigs, and his clothes and everything was left there. And then not too long after that, she, I guess, got back with their father, the biological father of one of them at least. And they poured a rough concrete slab next to the garage and told them that one of the dogs had died. And so they poured concrete over it so the wild animals would not dig it up, because it's pretty rural out there. So we obtained her mom's name and her dad's name, and in running property records, we found out that they owned that property. So it was like, well, and it was during that time period. And according to them, that mom had asked them that the property always stay in the family name for forever. That would pass on. But one of the daughters ultimately sold it, I think, like in 2005, 2006, who sold it to some other owners who then sold it. This gentleman who had owned it bought it in 2021 when, he came to the unfortunate discovery of the John Doe. So what we did after that was give the information. We followed up on the information given to us from them and gave it to our forensic genetic genealogist. And she found us some names living on the East Coast in the state of Pennsylvania. And I got hold of a woman who was distantly related, but said, Chet, as far as we know, he left to go to Arizona in 1999 and we never saw him again, and that he had 2 sons. So I located one of the sons, and he told me the story that, that he had gone to like Las Vegas first, then had returned to Pennsylvania with this woman who he called B. Hamilton, and called her his significant other, and then returned back to Dolan Springs. After that, distanced himself from the family. They really lost contact. And so they never put him out as a missing person because they just felt that he was living his life now in Dolan Springs with this B. Hamilton. So the son was, nice enough, good enough to provide us a DNA sample, which later and through processing confirmed that our John Doe was in fact Chester G. Williams III, known as Chet Williams, and professionally, I guess he was a musician. He also was like a model and tried to be an actor too. So yeah.
And today, do you think B and Alvin would be considered, would they be suspects? I guess now that's kind of, that wasn't the most important thing to you guys. It was, identifying this John Doe. But would they be considered suspects?
They would certainly, it would certainly be a mandated follow-up investigation and interview, because if you look at it, all the evidence points, in that direction. And talking to the daughters, they owned guns, they knew how to use guns. Um, it He was wrapped in carpeting similar to what was in the residence. His head was on a pillow, and he was in his long johns. Appeared like he might have been sleeping, and that maybe for reasons unknown. I do know in talking to them that her source of income was questionable. So as far as employment, so, and she did have an arrest history for fraud and larceny. And so it makes you wonder. And I think our avenue of investigation would be, what was your gain? What was the gain that was going to take place as a result of him not being around? Him being a musician, he must have had some kind of monetary income or bank accounts or some kind of monetary instruments. And so, and to my knowledge,